Today is day 4 of 100 days to profitability. So let's go ahead and dive into the trades that we took today. We took a few different trades today, and to be completely transparent with you guys, today was one of those days where, yes, I ended on a positive green note, but I kind of broke some of my rules, and I don't really feel good about ending on a green note because I know the ways that I got there probably weren't the most ethical and smart ways. So, with that being said, let's kind of go over the trades that I took and why I took them and why I probably broke my rules so that we can prevent it from happening next time. So, today is March 9th, 2026, and it is a no news Monday. So, there's not a lot of volatility today. I still like to trade no news Mondays, but I just size down a lot when I take trades. So normally on an account, if I'm willing to risk, I don't know, $400 or $500 that day, on a no news Monday, I will probably be willing to risk like $200, like half that, or even like less than that. So, anyways, with that being said, on the left screen, I've got NASDAQ, and on the right, I've got the S&P 500. These are futures. I trade ICT concepts, so let's go over and just jump right into it. Let's see, today, okay, we'll go back here. So, this morning, here's what the price looked like this morning. We have, let me go ahead and move this. We've got, whoops. Okay, so we've got London session and Asian session below us. And we've got the new week opening gap. I know this isn't perfect, but it's above us right here. This is the new week opening gap. I have a little preset here for it. And what I noticed right when market opened was I figured, well, we probably want to tap into this. We already did on NASDAQ and ES, but I was thinking we wanted to go a little bit deeper into it, like this. Maybe sweep this high right here and then go tackle all of these lows because this is a lot of liquidity down here, and I was looking for shorts, so my bias was shorts. Bearish is what it's called. Anyways, if we mark out these highs right here, we'll do that one and then this one. We noticed that when market opened a few minutes later, we swept it on NASDAQ, but not on ES. So because of that, we put in a bearish SMT divergence. Oops. So we've got an SMT divergence, and what that is when one indice takes out a high or a low, and the other one doesn't. It fails to do so. So that kind of tells us that price failed to make new highs on that other one, and it is a bearish confluence, right? So we have an SMT divergence here. And with that, I was really excited to see also right when market opened a little fair value gap. If we zoom in on the 1 minute, we had this little gap right here. And I think there was, I guess if you want to count this little one down here too, there's this little one as well. Same thing on ES. Let's go to the 1 minute. On ES, it had the two little fair value gaps right at market open. I'll just mark those two out. So what I wanted to see was just an inverse of those, right? If we continue to bounce out of it and use it, that means we're probably bullish for the day. But we put it in an SMT divergence, we swept those highs, we tapped into the new week opening gap, and then we started going down. So my trade this morning, my first one, I don't like to trade first thing in the morning, right when market opens, but I did. I had a little bit bigger of a stop loss, and I took profits about right here, close to a 1-to-1 RR. I actually got in a little bit earlier up here, I think. So it was like a 1 to 1.25-ish. I actually think I targeted these lows right here because there were a bunch of lows, kind of all relative equal lows down here. You might be asking, why didn't you target, the London or the Asian session lows, right? The simple answer, it's just too far. The market doesn't typically move that much in one morning session. It can, but it doesn't always do that. And it's also no news Monday. There's not a lot of volatility. And so something that I've learned from the past is no news Mondays, you can still trade just fine, but because of the lack of volatility, just go for smaller trades. So my trade looked something like this morning, and I felt great. I feel like it was an A plus setup. The only thing I didn't like about it was the fact that it was so early into market open. This was literally like 5 minutes after market open, not even that, like 4 minutes. Anyways, we did that, and I actually tried to take out or take a couple of other trades down to the London lows a little bit later. And let's go ahead and look at that real quick. And I'll show you exactly why I chose to do that. So right here, let's go to the 5 minute. On NASDAQ specifically, we put in this little 5 minute bearish gap. And it's also overlapping this bearish breaker. So this, if you guys are familiar, is a unicorn breaker setup. If you don't know what that is, just go ahead and Google it real fast. It's super simple. It's basically when a breaker block is overlapping a fair value gap. And the idea of these is you want price to go into this and you enter right there on the retest of both of those, and then you continue down. So it would look something like this with your stops up here, and then you would target like London lows or something like that. And I really liked this trade. I know this was a bigger trade, and I just said it's a no news Monday, so don't take big trades. But I really liked this one, and I actually didn't put my stop loss so high. I put it like right here, and I did the same thing where I just wanted to target these lows or even like this first low down here. Nothing crazy. I didn't want to go for a big home run. Just wanted to go for some base hits. So if we go back to the 1 minute, you get the idea of what I was looking for now. I wanted price to come back in, up into there. It did, and I entered the trade, and we basically got stopped out. It never hit my TP. Right up here, a lot longer into the session. There we go. So I don't remember if I moved to break even or not. I probably did. But I took a lot of different trades this morning, kind of smaller trades. And the first one that I showed you over here, I took this one on my funded account and I did great. I won a couple $100, like 150, $200, something small. I didn't want to go for anything crazy today. But this one I switched over to one of my evals and I was trying to pass that eval today because I was really close. And so I kept like losing trades. I would lose one, then win one, then lose one, then win one. And I kind of just went back and forth. So this was not the best trade setup. Well, it was a good setup, but when I lost that trade, I like to evaluate why I lost it. And this kind of made me mad a little bit because I took this trade over here 3 minutes into market open. It's totally fine to do that every once in a while, maybe size down a little bit because the market's really volatile the first like 5 to 10 minutes. It literally does this all the time. It will just open and then chop like crazy, manipulate you, and then go in a direction. It does that all the time. And so if you enter a trade in the first couple minutes of the market, just be careful and size down a lot, I would say. But anyways, what I want to say about this loss, the second loss that I took over here on NASDAQ, something like this, whatever it was, is I did not give myself enough time this morning to click around the charts and kind of get a better bias, specifically the high time frame. And I'm kind of mad about this because I've been looking at this for like literally weeks. On the 4 hour, on the daily, even the weekly, we swept out these weekly lows right here. Okay, and if we come over to ES, if we go to the weekly, it looks like it swept it, but we didn't. We actually didn't sweep those. In return, we put in an SMT divergence. And now this is a really high time frame, bullish SMT. So I should have been looking for longs. That first trade that I took was a great trade. It was a small little trade, but I still think I should have been looking for longs and just marked out liquidity up here, liquidity up here, liquidity up here. I know these are like way high, but you get the idea. I should have just looked for longs because I got stopped out on my second trade and then I started to just kind of get upset with myself because of that. But anyways, going back to market, I got stopped out here on my second trade, right? Um, because of that, I started to think like, okay, well, if price is wanting to go up, right? We swept out these crazy high time frame, these weekly lows. I was like, where does it want to go? What's the draw? I saw it's a little hard to see here, but right here, I thought that price wanted to go up to here because these looked like a bunch of relative equal highs. And there's a bunch of wicks right here, which tells you there's a lot of liquidity as well. So lots of people's stop losses that need to get switched and flipped out. But anyways, I waited and price actually bounced off of this gap like perfectly. So let's go ahead and go to the 5 minute. This is an hourly fair value gap. I was like trying to figure out if price was going to go up all the way towards these relative equal highs right here, or oops, let me go back. Okay. Or if we were going to use this gap, this 1 hour fair value gap, to bounce off of and maybe go actually take out these London lows. So let's see what price does. We go right into it and we get a strong V-shaped recovery, just like that, and then we go straight down. Right here is where I don't know if, because there's also a gap like right here. It was in this 30-minute gap, and so we just bounced out of a 1 hour gap into a 30-minute gap. But what if we just keep kind of bouncing back and forth, right? You don't know what's going to happen. And it's not like, oh, we're using this 30-minute gap, so hurry and take a long. And then this time it's going to go up to these highs, right? That's not exactly how it's going to work. I've written down in my notes, in my rules, and this is the rule that I broke today, that when price could literally go either way, and you can't tell which way it's going, just don't take a trade. Just don't try. You're 100% gambling, and it is like yelling at us right here. It doesn't know where it wants to go, right? It's just bouncing back and forth between gaps, and you don't know which way it wants to go. Yes, we just swept out these crazy weekly lows, and you think it's going to go up, but it doesn't always do that. It went up just a little bit, and then it went way down again. Oh, never mind. It went way up. I thought that this part right here was a little bit bigger. I thought it was actually going. Whoops. Hold on. Let me fix that. I thought it was actually going to go way down here and then up. But because of that, this is where I broke my rules and I took another trade. When it started going down right here, I thought it was going to go down again, and I just played the little let's just trade between two fair value gaps card. That does not work. Don't try it. You might win sometimes, but it's not a good trade setup. Let me go ahead and delete some of these. So I was just kind of a little bit, oh my gosh, I keep pressing buttons. I was just getting a little bit greedy, and I just was getting really antsy to pass my eval today because I was so close. I was like, I only needed like $500 or $600 more. And I thought that price was going to use this 1 hour fair value gap again. It actually tapped into this little 5 minute gap up here, and it used that 5 minute gap to go down. So, and it inversed this little gap here. Like, I felt good about this trade, but we just used this gap, this 30-minute fair value gap to go up. So where's it going to go? Is it going to sweep that again and just keep bouncing between these gaps like I'm saying? Don't try and trade between gaps when you don't know for sure where the market's going. Anyways, I lost this trade. I got stopped out. And what basically happened, I haven't looked, but I bet you this was a news tweet or something from maybe Trump or some type of economic news that just wasn't on Forex calendar, because this type of thing happens all the time. Price doesn't typically move like this ever. And I was in a trade and I got stopped out real fast. And I just was like, all right, whatever. But this trade specifically, I broke my rules only because there were just too many gaps and it was bouncing back and forth. It's gambling. You don't know. There wasn't really a clear draw on liquidity. And so it just wasn't an ideal time to trade. But anyways, I actually ended up taking a long right after this. for very low size because I was at this point I was just revenge trading and I was getting very upset with myself and I targeted these highs and believe it or not I passed this eval. Well, actually I didn't pass the eval. I got over $53,000, but I didn't meet the consistency rule. So there's all these little technical things that go into trading, and basically on the account I have to make like $500 more just because I didn't meet one of the requirements, which is totally fine. I'm in a good spot still, and I got really lucky today. But this is one of those days where yes, I finished green. The first trade was on my funded account, and that's going great. Very disciplined with that. But when I switch over to evals, I'm like, I don't follow my rules very well. I get really antsy, I get really impatient, and that's something I need to do better because evals cost money. They're business expenses. You got to treat them as if it were real money because it is real money. It's going to be real money. So, anyways, these are just a couple of lessons that I learned today. It was a green day. We finished positive on both accounts, but I don't feel super good about it just because I broke some of my rules. And it's good to talk about it in person out loud so that I can kind of hold myself accountable for these rules and or for these mistakes and just all the decisions that I'm making. So, anyways, today was officially day 4 of 100 days to profitability. Again, I don't know what the end goal is, whether it's to take one payout or 5 payouts or 10 payouts or make $10,000 or $5,000. I don't know. But I like to say in some of my other videos, it's not 10 or 100 days to profitability, it's 100 days of profitability. I want to try and tell myself that I'm already in a profitable mindset. Today wasn't the greatest decision making day. Yes, we finished positive, but it could have been a lot better. And so tomorrow we will trade way better. We're going to just be aware of what we need and if we get into a position where the market could go either way, just don't trade. It's that simple. So, anyways, I hope you guys learned something. If you guys have any questions or comments or any advice for me on things that I can do better, I've been trading for close to 2 years now, a year and a half to 2 years. And I have taken a couple really small payouts from prop firms, but never anything consistent. So that's the goal of this 100-day series. So if you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below. I'll respond to you. And I hope you guys are learning as much as I am. And with that being said, I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.